Hello, everybody. This is Tracie Mahan, and I am here with Lisa Jane Myers from New Zealand. Say hello.
Hi. Hi there.
And we wanted to come to you guys today and just share a little bit about our journeys. We do a lot of similar work, and we found each other in such a beautiful way and just have connected ever since. And so we decided that we were going to do some work together this last week, and we both took each other on journeys, and we want to share those journeys with you guys. So Lisa, tell me a little bit about what got you into like the shaman work and the type of work we did the other day with the channeling and the journey. I mean, we went to 7 galaxies out.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So
yeah, that's so amazing and so unexpected.
It was very unexpected. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, let's see where that goes. So tell me how you got kind of started in this kind of work.
Yeah, wow. So it's such a long time ago now. It was after the birth of my first daughter, which is actually just coming up 21 years ago, on the 19th of February. I got, those first few weeks, exhaustion.
Yeah.
But for me, exhaustion. And, no one gives you a book. No one gives you a book and says, oh, this is...
I got a book.
Did you?
What do you expect when you're expecting? And then I was like, oh, I don't want to read that. There's too many things in there I don't want to know.
Yeah. But then about like how to look after the baby after baby's born.
Yeah.
You know?
No kidding.
Oh, and you're tired, exhausted. Anyway, I got really down because, it was back when I wasn't using my, intuition, sort of trusting, flowing. I mean, it was working on me, but I wasn't listening. I was trying to use my head, and then I was getting really exhausted and no sleep. And I sort of went 3 weeks without any sleep and started to really crash and burn. And then my grandmother, who'd passed away. Yeah, she
Your
passed
grandmother.
away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my beautiful grandmother had passed away 10 years before, and she started to appear on my shoulder. And the dark night of the soul, those hours between 2 and 5 o'clock in the morning. And she started to appear on my shoulder. And I thought, hey, I've been brought up, not understanding anything like that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. And she kept appearing night after night on my shoulder, and she passed away. And I thought, no, surely. Anyway, I was so raw and so wide open that I just sort of started to listen. Really, we should come in with, beautiful. I could feel her, I could sense her, I could smell her. She used to smoke a lot of cigarettes. She used to smoke a lot of cigarettes.
The ones that smoke cigarettes really, they bring that smell through.
Yeah. Because we can identify. It's like, oh, that smells like my grandmother. Wow, that's really, they try in so many ways to let you know that it's them. And
wonderful.
And so she kept coming through, and there was no internet. There were no books. There was sort of, so I started to really trust, It's like, oh, wow, okay, here's my little research project every single night. And then I went off and did mediumship training, and then 5 years ago, I one day just hanging out, and I could hear this beating of a drum, and I thought, oh, what's that? Yeah. And I don't know, I let it lead me. I often laugh at myself, because when I speak about these experiences, I think they don't make sense. Hey,
the drumming is amazing, though. I remember somebody doing a drumming circle, and they had everybody close their eyes, and they're walking around the room, they're doing the drums, and afterwards we get done, and she goes, how was that for everybody? I said, oh my God, I love the singing.
Yeah.
You guys did such beautiful singing.
Yeah.
And she looks at me and she goes, we weren't singing.
Yeah, exactly.
So like you said, you just let the drum lead you.
So this drum led me to what was to be my shamanic teacher for 4 years. So I went to this she was at a not a sort of a workshopping day, and I walked in there and I just looked at her and I knew it was her.
Yeah.
So I got led, felt the drum, got sorry, just something came up on my screen then. Interesting. And so I got led there and I saw her and I looked her in the eyes, and she said to me, it wasn't until later on that she said to me, oh, it was quite funny because she knew that I had work to do with her, a lot of work to do with her. And then that led on to 4 years of shamanic training with her and with our other teacher. Yeah, so.
And I've known you for some of that, a lot of that actually.
All of that.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember how long we've known each other now, but yeah, I remember the shaman journey with you.
4 or 5 years.
Yeah. That's awesome. Beautiful story. So then you started doing these types of shaman sessions. I know in my session the wolf came in, and what a powerful message it was giving to us. And so do you work a lot with like the animals in these sessions?
Yeah, I work with my spirit teacher, my spirit warrior, power, my own power animals, and to do really, incredible deep work, soul retrieval, and to guide me on what's happening, and they show me trauma and other, in people's bodies. Wow, that's a whole nother. Yeah, it's quite amazing. So I can see. What needs to, where I need to go to.
And one of the things I want to bring up with the sessions that we did, we mentioned 7,000 miles away we are.
Yeah.
And when we got in these sessions, and even like right now, it just feels so connected and just like we're in the same space. And when we got in those sessions, there was no separation there. We were sharing space. We were real deep into that. And, we both just closed our eyes and just got into the energy of it. And it was amazing. It was a great experience.
Yeah, that's what I love. That's what I love about our work. I mean, I'm in New Zealand now and you're in Oregon.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that. I mean, I can feel you. I have such a deep sense of you as you do with your clients, as I do with my clients.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with hearing the drum that day, and being drawn there and drawn to my next teacher, and then working, as you experience and I experience, working with our clients right there. And it doesn't matter, it can be time here, it can be time in the past, time in the future. And then, I mean, I've never been out 7 galaxies before, like we did the other day.
Yeah, that was an incredible journey. And, when I posted a picture on my Facebook page that really felt like it represented the little portal that I went through. So I'm going to share that real quick if that's okay with you.
Yeah, I really love that. Hey, so when did you first come to your come into this Arcturian?
So this picture here was it just felt like I walked right into that with you. And when we came out the other side, it was just so amazing.
Yeah,
and
that was exactly my experience.
Yeah. The Arcturians, I've had some experiences off and on. Well, let's go back to that. I want to finish, because we went into your session.
Yes.
Let's finish. Yes. Otherwise we'll bounce around a lot.
Yeah. And also because the Arcturian energy came through for me about 2.5 years ago. And it wasn't until our session 2 days ago that I understood actually what it was. Because yeah.
And what was new for me is the Arcturians that come in for me kind of have more of a bluish color in their skin tone. And when we went through that portal and we came out 7 galaxies in or out or wherever it was, there were Arcturians waiting for us there, and they had more of this metallic-y gold skin tone to them. But I knew that they were Arcturian. I knew that they were part of this same collective group. So I was learning so much that day. My mind was just blown. And I was just sitting there going, wait a minute. Well, of course, just like we have different versions of the humans here, there's different versions of these guys there. And I'll get into some of the where my mind went after the session. You know, it's like that's one of the things we've been talking about. How are you today? You know, now that we've been through the session and just the different things, I tell you, it blew my mind to go 7 galaxies out and to just sit there with that in my head. So we'll talk about that when we jump over to the how did that session affect me?
Yeah.
But I want to hear more about, because you went. Go ahead.
Sorry, you know what I loved about that session? I'll just what I loved about that session was that you and I have been working together for 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
And so that I felt so anchored here, you know, for us to be able to go out that far.
Oh yeah.
And do the work that we did, you know, and
powerful,
that's, yeah, and that's because you know, I've been working with you for so long, and there's so much. I want to use the word trust. It's not really the right word, but
familiarity is what it is.
Familiarity,
yeah.
and you know that we were both able to go out there and do the healing for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the work for ourselves and for others was great.
It was, yes, and so at one point in the session, and it was really quite quickly into it, you started bringing the Arcturian channel in, and I want to talk about that because one of the things that was so impactful on my side of it was, you know, they change our voices, and
yes.
they do it with me as well, and they did it with you, and so our voices change, and those voices that the way that they bring our voice out brings a frequency.
Yes.
And you were bringing in a very rhythmic, very high frequency vibration coming through. And I was telling you, because we both had our eyes closed and we couldn't see each other in this session. And I was telling you earlier that I was sitting over here just like twitching, and all the energy that was coming in. Every time you would talk, it would be like it would shoot energy in. And I think it was just
we maybe need a, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt us. So do we maybe need to back up just a little bit and explain the Arcturian?
Oh, sure, we can. You know, I want to be clear that energy was a very positive energy that was shifting me into being ready for this journey that you were going to take me on, and into that portal. And so it was just preparing me to do that. And that's one of the things feedback that I get also with the channel videos that I do, is that people are like, I can feel the energy working on me while you're talking.
Yeah.
And it's very powerful. But yeah, let's talk about the Arcturian. Who is the Arcturian?
Yes, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was like, just in case we get quite far into it, which you and I will do.
We'll go down that rabbit hole. So for me, the Arcturian is a very benevolent extraterrestrial type being, much like we would envision maybe an angel or something like that. These are beings that have a physical body from another planet, from another realm or dimension, and they are working with us right now to raise the vibration of this planet. And yeah, and apparently we volunteered to be a voice for them, and I'm loving it. I'm like, I was probably the one in the classroom going, here. Yeah, because I'm really enjoying it. Okay, so what's your experience with the Arcturian?
So I didn't really, okay, so when I was doing my shamanic studies, so it probably was about 2.5 years ago, and we were, that's when the Arcturian came through for me. And I didn't understand. And, you know, it's funny because I didn't even, so it's Arcturian. You pronounce it slightly different to me. Anyway, I'll pronounce it like you pronounce it. But yeah, that was.
I don't know if there's a right way or wrong way. Probably 20 ways to say it.
Yeah.
Go with your heart.
Yeah, that was when he came through. And my experience of him has always been as a really high vibration healing. And even as I speak, he's speaking through me because he makes my body really hot, beautifully hot, you know, like a warm summer's day. Yeah, and that was when he came through. And I first saw him and experienced him, and this most beautiful, beautiful, and exactly as you said, quite an angelic energy, quite an angelic being and an angelic energy. And I see him. And even the other day when he came through, you were saying her, and I'm like, yeah, because he does feel like a he and a she.
And they can, because they're more in the balance of that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when he comes through, my voice almost goes, I've had clients say that my voice sounds very square, and that I talk in a square, and it gets quite, and I feel
it's the frequency that you're,
the frequency. And even now as I speak, I keep sort of dropping into that energy, and
just like that.
So that was my experience. But what was beautiful was the other day when we did, when we've been exchanging and sharing sessions, is that you actually gave a name to what was happening. And I'd experienced light language back in 2000.
Oh, yeah. That was the other experience we had. We're talking to each other in light language.
In light language. And I experienced that. I was in a health shop, and the manager was chatting away to me about something that I needed there. I'd asked him to help me with something that I needed. And then he started speaking to me in light language. It's like, hey, hey, what's that? Hey, that's really familiar. I know that language.
Yeah.
So, that was my experience in light language. And then with my Arcturian. And then the other day when you were able to say, hey, this is who it is, and then bringing in the light language, like, it all came together, and I completely understood it then. And then of course I've done a whole lot of research since then. Incredible.
Well, and we should share the story about how we came together to do these sessions.
Yes, that's even funnier.
So I mean, we pop in on each other every once in a while, but we just that particular day.
You'd put the message. I was thinking of you. So it was a Sunday morning, Saturday where you are, and I'd gotten up and I was thinking of you so much that day. And then I'd put a Facebook post up, and you'd put on there, bam, something like, I love you, on the, it was a big heart with I love you on the comment. And then something else happened. And then.
Oh, you sent me a little message saying,
how are you?
Yeah, hi, I've been thinking about you. And I wrote you back, and then pretty soon you're calling me on Facebook. And I was like, oh, I got time. So I get my little stuff together and I answer it. I'm like, hello. And so I'm thinking, well, maybe she did an accidental dial or something. And pretty soon there's a click, and you're saying hello. And so we sat there and visited for a couple minutes, and we said, we need to do this. This will be fun. And then I said, okay, well, you're going to have to hang up, because for some reason it's not giving me the option to hang up. So it must be because you called me. And you're going, I didn't call you. And on your end, I was calling you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you called me. That's why I picked up. And you're like, no, you called me. That's why I picked up.
Yeah.
It was so amazing.
And that came out in the session. The Arcturian, the little girl that was coming through for my session, said that she orchestrated that. She goes, I'm the one that called you.
Yeah, it was so great. So we were being pulled together. We were absolutely being pulled together that day.
Yeah.
To do the work, to do the healing work, to do our work together. Again, like we were 5 years ago.
Yeah. And as we did this work this week, it was like, well, of course they pulled us together. And of course we recognized each other 5 years ago, because we're part of the same group. We're part of this, we kind of got a bigger understanding of how we know each other.
Yeah.
Through the Arcturians and through these councils that were coming in, and just a bigger picture. So that was really amazing as well. We had a lot of fun with that. But yeah, a lot of healing can take place in those sessions. A lot of the energy that was coming through was just moving unnecessary energy that we play with every day off. For me, that was the experience. It's just letting go of unnecessary worry, unnecessary thought processes and different things. Really was a healing experience. And then to get to go on that journey through the portal and come out the other side with some new friends waiting for us. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess what I was trying to say before was when I was saying with you and I being able to go out, out 7, how did you explain it? 7 galaxies.
The way that you said it, because I had it on a
Yeah.
recording.
See, because I'm
I had to
channeling.
listen to it because I was like, what was it that she said? And you said, are you ready? I believe you said, are you ready to go out 7 galaxies?
Yeah, that's
and
right.
I'm like, let's do it. Let's go. And in my mind, I could see that portal. And I was like, the portal's here. Let's do it. Let's go in. And yeah.
But the thing for me, because I naturally like to spend a lot of time in those realms, and that's why for me it was important to go and do those 4 years of shamanic, because I first started with speaking with angels, 15 years ago, and so for me it was really important to go and do for me to go and do the shamanic studies to keep me grounded, to keep me on the ground.
I have a question for you. I'm going to just throw a curveball at you because I know you love it when I do that. You love it when I do that.
Go on. Yeah, I can't wait.
in meeting these other beings, the Arcturians, or even some of the others that might come in, because I have a lot of different ones that'll come in. My Arcturian has made it himself, mine's name is Daniel, and he's made himself known as the gatekeeper. And he will bring in other councils. Like one of my main councils that comes in is, I call them the Imperials, and it's this beautiful feminine energy that comes in and speaks. And you got to experience the Imperial council when I was doing your session. But the Arcturians, the one that will usually start the session and pop in every once in a while and guide me through it. In the process of doing all of that, and I'm going to ask you, because I had an experience with this, do you view angels differently now? Like, I grew up in this Catholic church environment where, these angels are these little etherical beings that, God's right hand angels. And now that I'm meeting all of these other benevolent beings, these beautiful beings that are much like angels, I think I'm getting a different understanding of what an angel is.
Yes.
It's still a very magical, dynamic, high vibrational and capable being of doing all of these things on so many dimensions and frequencies, and being able to come in and help us like that. But my perception of what is an angel is kind of shifted a little.
Actually, that makes me feel quite emotional, because and that's what I always love about working with you. You manage to put words to exactly what I'm walking through or experiencing, and that's exactly my experience with
it's like this higher awareness of what is that being that comes in and helps us, that we call an angel.
Yes, and that's the same vibration, exactly the same vibration, the same feeling, the same sense. And that was exactly my experience when I met I've always called him my light being, and he's an Arcturian, was that really high, beautiful, high frequency, like we both said, that angelic energy, and there's so much love and compassion and really wanting to work alongside me, exactly as you said before, to work through any emotional stuff, any blocks, any insecurities that I have about myself, to be able to step into my work, to do my, like what I was talking to you, like what I was talking to you about before we got on the video. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be on the video. I don't think I have the right words. I don't. And it's really interesting because
it just flows. We say, they come in and help us find our words.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's one for you. And we're just going to be raw right here on the video. Everyone gets to watch us do it.
Yeah.
After my session that night, I walked outside and it was pretty clear out. And I looked up and you could see the stars. And I'm just looking up and I'm like, okay, where are you guys? And in my head, I hear, why are you looking up there for us? And all of a sudden I had this realization that maybe the 7 galaxies out isn't the same space that we're looking at when we go outside and stare up in the ground, because we're accessing this other dimension from our consciousness. So I
Mm.
had this total wild moment of, where do we really go when we go in and when we step into those other dimensions in our mind? Is that a
Wow.
different kind of
Yeah.
space than when we go outside and look up at the stars?
Wow. I love that. I love
Yeah,
that. I
something to
feel
think
that
about.
really, yeah, I really feel that around my heart area. That's beautiful because, we said we sort of go out, and my experience was going further out, but maybe it's in a sense deeper into
Yeah,
us, into what we already are and who we already are and what we already sense.
yeah,
Wow.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Welcome to
beautiful.
my head.
Yeah. I love it. And you know what? It was so amazing. So we did the first session 5 days ago, and then 2 days later, another session. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that was 2 days ago. Okay. So if that wasn't too confusing. um, and after the second session, so yesterday, that night, and then the next day, my experience was really interesting because things that I'd been sitting on for ages, mulling over, trying to make a head decision with, rather than feeling into and intuitively being led, trusting my gut feeling, my intuition.
mm-hmm.
I was sort of up in my head about things. And then after our session, it was like so much got cleared away, so many of my worries, old insecurities, like really, really deep stuff. It was really interesting. I'd be doing things like I was cooking that night, cooking dinner. And it was almost as though everything had sort of been, not everything, but a lot of stuff had been cleared off, and then all this clarity came through. I was
Yeah,
cooking away and I went, oh, okay, I know the answer to that thing that I'd been sitting on. I know the answer to that.
wow.
It wasn't a head knowing, it was a feeling. It was like, oh, I
Yeah.
feel, you know
And that's
that.
kind of what those downloads are like. It's not
Mm.
necessarily that you're getting this download and all of a sudden you have an encyclopedia in your head. It is the intuitive. It really moves through the vibrational body.
Yes, yes.
And so when we were in your session, yeah, we were bringing in frequencies, clearing out old vibrations, moving it out from center out. And then there was some where they would have us come in and bring it from the outside in. And, and so to explain what I do in my sessions, it was the same kind of thing that you did. We both, when we go into our sessions, we go into a channel, and the channel comes in and guides you through your session. So you're we're both getting to hear the changes of each other's voices in these sessions and stuff, and they can be very unique to the person that's going through the session. And
Yeah, like for me, when you were working with me and we were looking at where I don't feel worthy, and around relationship, around
right,
relationships. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I've just had two really intensive, pretty full-on relationships that weren't nice at all. And so we were looking at those patterns of not feeling worthy. Hey,
yeah,
and we're going really deep, working on deep old patternings.
yeah, really deep.
So,
And then and then going in after doing all of that clearing and doing the healing work, the intention with now I'm not going to be able to talk because they're coming in with the Ascension activation sessions, is we're clearing out that energy that's holding us, that's like shackles on us, and we're clearing that out. And then the beautiful part is in the second part of the journey, they come get you and they take you to meet your councils or take you to
yes.
somewhere that feels like home,
Yeah.
and brings in that deep connection,
Mm,
that feels like
mm,
home, to remind us who we
mm,
truly are and how deep we can
mm,
truly go. And the
mm.
more I'm finding these sessions happening, the more I'm finding that I can find that connection in this reality. And like I was saying with the looking up at the sky and then hearing, why are you looking for us there? The realization of this fifth dimensional earth that we all talk about, this shift in the planet, why are we looking for it out here?
Yeah.
It's
I love
there.
that.
and
I
we
love
shifted
that.
in our minds, and
Mm,
we're shifting into these deeper connections. We're finding the people
mm,
that are our tribe and
mm,
that understand that deeper connection and can go there with us.
mm.
And I think it's a beautiful thing. We're all still in the process of learning and getting there, but we got to experience it when we went in our journey, and being so far apart, but yet feeling that deep connection and that trust and that that oneness, that
Mm.
oneness
Yeah,
consciousness that you hear people talking about. And it's like, we
yeah,
were there, we were sharing
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I knew what you were thinking and feeling, you knew what I was thinking and feeling.
Yes.
And we gave each other validation during that whole thing about picking these things up and just having a beautiful experience with it. And I
Yes.
think there's going to be more of that.
Yeah, and you were also working through, you were working through things in your life as well that I was able to work through with you. And
Yeah.
you already had a sense of them. You already had a sense of the answers. You already had a sense of, you knew which path to take. But it was interesting, wasn't it? In the channeling and the clearing, and
Yeah.
the clearing, and then with your counsel, you were able to come to what you already knew.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Yeah, we were kind of on a similar path there of feeling worthy for relationships. One of the messages that I keep getting is February is a big month for me for bringing in a new relationship. And I'm telling you, I want to be ready for that.
Yeah.
So we were doing it. We were clearing out energy for those
Yeah.
relationships to show
Yeah.
up, these powerful, wonderful, feed your soul kind of relationships. And I think, it'll be exciting. Maybe we'll have to do another episode when we have those relationships with us, and we can talk about, what is our experience now that we've cleared that energy. And,
Yes. Yeah, I'd love to
bring in
do
that
that.
relationship. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd love to do that. It's a bit like what I was saying before about, in the sort of the next day and a half, and it's still happening now. In fact, I'm sort of being pushed, like I was today, to do this video with you, which I was really scared about,
Yeah.
But it, just doing sort of everyday things, like I said before, with when I was cooking, and then I started to know and started to understand, then what so how do I explain? Oh no, I'm going to trip over. Like we said before the video, that I knew the answer. I was just sitting on. So I was just sitting on, things that I knew the answer to. I was just sitting on them. In fact, remember when you were doing the work with me in the first session, and you were saying, "Oh, there's a lot of resistance," and I could feel it in my tummy.
Yeah.
I could feel it in my tummy because I was sitting on a whole lot of decisions that I wanted to make, and I was actually rationalizing and using my head instead of sort of feeling into, and using my gut instinct and letting all my fears and insecurities come up, and then when you said to me, okay, you're ready to walk through this and clear this, and I'm like, yes, and you were saying to me, oh oh, are you? Because I can feel the resistance in my tummy.
It was interesting. So I am going to explain. So it's the channel that was doing all that, but I'm right there too. And just like you are very aware of what's going on. And it was funny because in my mind, I could see the channel is reaching in and going to remove this. And it was like these little hands are holding onto it, going, no, that's my security blanket.
Yes.
So,
yeah, I was, and I was like, and even the night before, I dreamed that I was giving birth, and I kept waking up. My tummy was really, really sore. Remember we talked about that?
Yeah.
I had a really restless night's sleep, and especially that one before we did the session, and I kept waking up feeling like I was in labor, and it was almost as though the session was starting to show up. Me and all my resistance.
Well, and there is no time and space.
Oh.
So yeah. So the session had started before we did.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I was, I felt like it was in labor, and then all this resistance. I was giving birth to a new way, but I had to breathe through it, which I wasn't breathing through it. And I hadn't been doing that, sitting on all these decisions and sitting on all this old stuff. And yet I knew that I wanted to step up more and do this, you know, do collaborative work, do work with you, do videos, but all my fears, everything was just sort of holding me down. And when you said, okay, are you ready? And I'm saying, yes. No, I'm going to hold on. I'm going to hold on. I'm going to hold on. I've got all this resistance.
Yeah. It's funny how our conscious mind might say one thing, or that subconscious mind is doing a different one. And that's a beautiful part of this work, because we're connecting. Again, our eyes are closed. I'm not seeing your physical reaction. I'm feeling it. And same when you were working with me, you were feeling it.
Yes.
And, those feelings, they don't lie. And,
no, they don't.
And we can be much more accurate with what we're picking up with that when we're in a session like that, in that deep state of the session. And, so I've really started, you asked me earlier, when did I start working with the Arcturians? And I think I've had them come visit me for years, but, and I've done channeled letters where I'll channel in people's information, and possibly they were working through me with that. But in August, I went to Arkansas to get my level 2 QHHT training, and Kaya Wittenberg was channeling in the Arcturians. And I was sitting there doing much like I did when you were channeling. I'm sitting there doing this. I'm like, okay, there is a lot of beings in this room, and I could just see it in my mind's eye. They were all around us, just tons of them around us, filling up the room. And I'm just like, I'm going into this twitching. And I was sitting by Julia Cannon, and I said, don't mind me. Something's happening here. And just don't mind me if I'm twitching. And she's like, okay. She's like, and I'm over there just doing my thing. And it was when I came home from that trip, I went into I did a trade with a friend of mine, and I was supposed to go back and lean back and let her do a session on me. And I'm sitting there, and I was like, something tells me as soon as this chair goes back, something else is going to happen than what we think. And I could just feel them just like right here on my head. And sure enough, as soon as I leaned that chair back, that recliner back, here comes the Arcturian, and just wanted to talk a mile a minute, because it was like our first time ever doing this. And it's just been a delight ever since, because they are very positive energy. They're very high vibrational energy. And people are like, doesn't that make you tired? Like, no, because I got all that energy moving through me.
Yes.
We're done. I'm just kind of like, okay, let's go do something now, and it's usually I left feeling pretty good. Sometimes I feel tired, sleepy, but that'll only be if they've done, downloads and work on me. And that's another beautiful thing of being the channel, is if I'm working on somebody that has an issue that mirrors something that I'm working on, it'll clear it for me too. And when we do these channels, and maybe we'll invite you to do that a little bit more publicly, via video maybe. When people are listening to them, they're going to get the same healing.
Yes. I mean, that's why the phone rang that day. That's why it rang and put us together. And I'm like, okay, am I just gonna not do this? Or, I mean, I love it when we work together. So yes, you say I'm gonna do, and get over everything that I need to get over it. And then when you put that post on my Facebook page, it's like, it's one thing for me to call myself a psychic medium and a shamanic healer, but when you didn't put it on my page, sorry. I'm meaning, I got to accept for it to be
I tagged you in it. Yeah.
Hey, on my Facebook page. But I had to really let a whole lot of stuff go around me being completely out there, going into 7, down 7 galaxies, and so absolutely, I'm really looking forward to. And that's the thing, that's the thing that I, when I first was a medium, I've tried to run from. I mean, that's 21 years now ago, but I've tried to run from this work so many times. But actually, you know, when I get myself out of the way and my ego and everything and all the blah, blah, I love my session. And I love the sessions with, you know.
When you just let them flow and it comes in and it's.
I love sessions with clients. I absolutely love it, you know, because the healing, when I get myself out of the way and let all the healing and let the words and let everything come through, that's absolutely beautiful. It's, you know, and after my sessions, I'm always so grateful, you know, I'm always so grateful that I got myself out of the way.
Yes. Yeah.
You know?
And I've done that so many times where I'm like, I'm feeling blocked and I'm like, how come I'm not receiving things right, you know, the same way today? And I'll get that same thing. You're in your own way. It's like, oh,
yeah.
I'm trying too hard to be up here and get the answer.
Yes.
Instead of just let that answer flow in.
Yeah.
And,
I remember one of my teachers years and years ago, and she said, now look, don't ever worry about doing your work when you're really, really tired, because that's when you do some of your best work, because you've actually just got yourself out of the way and you're right there, channel.
Wow. And that's great.
And that actually gave me, that actually was good for me, because there was never any excuse not to be doing my work. And, you know, also I've found that when I'm at my most raw, I remember going through something incredible. It was horrendous just a few years ago. And I was so raw and, you know, in a crisis and so raw. And spirit were lining clients up for me. And, you know, and all I need is my phone and my you know, and my to work. And I'm going, guys, I'm right in the middle of something. And they're like lining up, lining up clients. And I'm going, well, okay. But it was, you know, there I was at my most vulnerable and at my most raw. And I just, of course, I was completely out of my own way. And then they were channeling. And it was just so
And beautiful. It brings your healing in too.
Yeah, it brought my healing in. And, you know, I was right there alongside my clients. So beautiful. So beautiful.
Yeah. How many times have we been in a session where you hear the words coming out of your mouth and you just dead on know that's your message? And they're like, that's
me for me as well. Yeah. I think that was meant for me. Too.
Exactly. And and another thing that I want to mention, that these sessions are filled with love. They're very loving. They're very gentle. When the channels come in, they're trying to find the softest, most beautiful way to help you move out of something that isn't serving you. And to help you step into your greatness, see who you are. They really, really want us to see who we are, who we
That was exactly my experience with you. You know, and that's why I was laughing, because it was actually harder for me with all my resistance and like holding my stomach really tight, like being so resistant. That was actually harder work, you know. And then when I experienced the Arcturian energy and you channeling and a sense of being, how do I say, being in my what felt like my truest self. You know, in that loving space with them and feeling held. Yeah, it was actually harder work with all my resistance.
But, you know, that in itself, now you would never do that again, would you? You'd be like, what am I doing? I got to trust this, let this go.
That's what I've been doing more so the last 5 days.
So it served a purpose. And, you know, instead of being like, oh, what was I thinking? I was being so resistant. No, it served its purpose. And now you're recognizing that resistance, and it's so easy to let it go now. So we're thankful that showed up, so that you could be aware of it and recognize it. And boom, now you just, come on, out of there. Yeah. I'm gonna do this video and I'm going to rock it.
Yeah.
No more resistance.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I just think it's been so beautiful. And I have to tell you, I'm having a major deja vu moment right now.
Are you?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Well, tell me. This whole part of the conversation just feels like it had already happened. And so probably has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can feel that. In fact, I'm not going to cry on video. I'm not. I'm
I know
not.
where you can get some tissue.
That was funny the other day. I'm not. Yeah, I had so many moments. Actually, you know what these tears are? Relief.
Yeah.
Relief and understanding. You know, when you said it's already happened. It's already happened. And that was my experience the other day in our sessions. The tears were relief, understanding, being understood, knowing who I am and what my work is. And also, you know, working with you, you understand me, I understand you.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, you know, and I guess for you and I working together and being able to do these healing sessions with clients, you know, is having other people see and understand and know who they are.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's my heart's desire.
Yeah.
Just see who you are.
Yeah.
This illusion, let it go. And yeah.
I don't know whether this is I think this is really relevant, actually, this story. So I remember I worked with a client. Her mother had passed away. She was in a different country to me, far away, and then her partner was in a different part of the country that they lived in, and the three of us came in together on the phone. Well, it was online, but it was by voice, and was the most incredible session, bringing her mother who had passed away through, the healing that came through, and bringing her through and her partner through. And they were really connected to her mother.
Wow.
You know, and so my point in sharing this is that, you know, here I was in a different country, they were in a different country, in two different places. So the three of us were in different places. This is totally
and
relevant.
Yet you're all right there.
Yeah, and yet it was so beautiful. And you know, that session took an hour. It was an hour, and the most amazing healing came through. Love, relief, grief was worked through. Oh, just so much, you know, it was so beautiful. And so, yeah, my point in sharing this is that you and I can be doing these sessions with clients, with people. And it's funny, can you hear my voice change there?
I did. The Arcturian just came in.
My voice starts to change and almost go square like.
Little robotic. I love it.
Yeah, goes robotic. That's the word. So that you and I can be doing these sessions with anybody, anywhere. And you can be in Oregon, I can be in New Zealand.
And we're talking about coming together. Of course, I would make that trip to New Zealand.
Yes.
And working together on people. So people, if you guys are interested in Lisa and I coming together and doing these sessions together, we're open to trying that out too. So let us know. You were talking about the death thing. It reminded me of a story, because one of the things that is becoming very, very clear is that we need to get out of this idea that there's time, and we need to get out of this idea that we're separated by space.
Yes.
And I had a client come in, and they had lost a parent 3 years prior, and then had just lost the other parent. And it was I think it was 1 day short of 3 years to the day of the first parent, right? And they said, why did that happen? Why was it like 3 years to the day almost? And so I'm looking at that. And I said, your parents crossed over together. And they're like, well, no, there was 3 years apart. I said, nope. There's no time on that side. So the father passed. The mother had the illusion of 3 more years. And then the mother passed. But on the other side, they both exited at the same time.
Wow.
There was no Yeah, no space there. And they went together. And so even though there was this experience of 3 years, there was no time passed on the other side. He was there to grab her hand, and they went together. And I got to share this story with the family that, you know, they crossed that into that light holding hands. That's what they're showing me. They're holding hands and going into the light together.
I can feel that too as you speak about it.
It's very, very real. And again, I learned so much just being open-minded about there's no rules to this. What show me, and letting go of my attachment or my belief system around it, and letting it be shown to me in a different way. And I mean, we wouldn't have went 7 galaxies out if I had an attachment to that, right? So they really do have to work with our belief systems. And this is where Lisa and I are challenged. This is where we get to be challenged as a channel. They are working with our thoughts and with our belief systems, with our attachments. They're as limited as we are. So if we, as we're learning to do this, we are learning to let go of our limits. We become a better channel for all of you guys, all of you out there listening. And that's our goal. We want to bring forward the message that's going to help everyone expand that light in themselves. And in order to do that, we got to let go of the parts that we're hanging on to, those attachments, those belief systems, and unlearn everything we've learned, really. So, And on that note, I know that we're running out of time here. We both have some things to do today. So, Lisa, how do people find you?
Beautiful. So I have my own website, which is lisajanemyers.com.
And I'm going to put that on the video here, you guys, so it'll be right there.
That'd be great. So you can reach me there. Also, I have a Facebook page, Lisa Jane Myers Psychic Medium. But yeah, come and message me on my website. I'd love to meet you. Love to chat. And
we can do these shamanic and ascension sessions via video. We can even do them on the phone because we close our eyes anyway. So via phone, via video. Yeah. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world because you can do the video. We've got internet. So wonderful. And you guys can find me at traciemahan.com. And again, I'll put the information in the video as well. So, Lisa, thank you.
Yay!
It's been such a week. And I appreciate and love you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, I love you.
All right.
Thanks, Tracie. Okay.
All right.